Hey Rebels, Coach Willem here, and this is our Phase 2 warm-up. We're going to begin with some prehab. The goal here is to focus on our hips, upper back, and shoulders for this next phase of training. So for the next 4 months, we're going to be focusing on getting those areas more mobile and stronger. We're going to begin with foam rolling the glutes. We're going to start with foam rolling the glutes. We're going to sit onto the roller. Think just right at the top of your butt. Now what I want to do is I want to have my feet just slightly outside of shoulder width. I'm going to lean to the side, and I should be feeling that tension around the top of my hip here. I'm going to hold as hard as I can. 1, 2, bring it back. Again, shift my weight down into the roller. 1, 2, reach back. Last one. 1, 2. Now, depending on how that feels for you and the tension of the glutes, you can either go up or down, trying to find those different areas. Play around with knee angle. Just make sure that when you find that area of tension, you're just sitting your weight into it, so there's more pressure on that spot with the roller. So we're going to do 3 on each side, 3 reps on each side, holding for a 2 count. Next, we're going to go into our 90-90 hold. We're going to go into our 90-90 position. So the inside of my knee, that's forward, is facing towards the ceiling. The inside of my back knee is onto the ground. Now from here, what I want to do is I want to reach my chest to be in line with my knee. I'm going to drive my weight into the hip that's on the ground. 1, 2, 3. Come out from that stretch. 3 reps, hold for 3 count this time. 1, 2, 3. Then switch sides. Let's say we're not quite ready for this full position. Just bring the legs in closer. You can still get that stretch through that glute. Now that we've foam rolled the glute, we then stretched it out. We're going to now activate it. So what I want us to do is place this band above our knee. We're going to go into clamshells. You can use your roller to rest your head if you want, but what I want us to do here is we're going to do 3 reps, pausing. 1, 2 at the top, bring it down. Now, as my hips are stacked, I don't want to rotate, so make sure that as you're applying resistance to the band, you're squeezing your glute and keeping the hips stacked and forward. 1, 2, bring it down, get tight. 1, 2, bring it down. Again, our goal here is to get the glute to fire, get it to activate before we get into our workout. Next, we're going to roll out the lats. Next, we're going to roll out the lats. Begin on the right side. I'm going to have my left heel up to my butt. I'm going to then reach over until I find tension, and then my arm here is going to go down to the ground. 1, 2, bring it back. 3 reps, hold for that 2 count. Reach for that ground. 1, 2, bring it back. Last rep. 1, 2. Now again, when we're rolling out the lat, we want to go down the side that is behind the armpit. We don't want to go on the armpit, we want to go slightly behind and get this muscle that is connected back here. Next, we're going to move into that lat stretch. So we're going to let our head rest onto our forearm. Our arm's going to reach across and over. And from this position, I'm going to sit my hip back to the wall. Get a good stretch through the back here. 1, 2, 3. Sweep it. Bring it back. 1, 2, 3. Sweep it. Bring it back. After the last stretch, we're going to go into a banded cat-cow. So grabbing your resistance band, placing your thumb on the inside of the band, wrap it around the back so it goes just right around that low back, just slightly above the hip. Other hand goes into the band. Pull that band down to the ground. What you're going to do is a cat-cow. Make sure you move through this slowly. Round that upper back or that lower back where that band is. Start the movement there. Round, then upper back. Control, extend, you'll see that band rolling up, and that's okay. Again, same motion. I push my low back into that band. I round, control down, last rep, round, as I push into that band. Next, we're going to go into lacrosse balling the scapula. So now that we work the upper back, we're going to work on the shoulder. So what I want us to do here is I want us to grab the lacrosse ball, and what we're going to do is we're going to place it into the shoulder blade. We want to find a spot where there's tension. So you can either begin by placing the ball in that position, otherwise start with the ball on the ground and find your way into it. So what I want to do is I want to find that tender spot. I want to pull my shoulder blade down and actively pull my shoulder into the ground. 1, 2, relax, pull down, 1, 2, one more rep, push down, 1, 2. Then we're going to switch sides. After that, we're going to go into our chest openers, 3 reps, 3-second hold, arms are out in front of the chest, reach them as far back as you can, hold for that 3 count, round as you reach forward. These knees can either be bent or straight. I personally enjoy having them slightly bent. That way I can reach forward, get a bigger round through that upper back, get nice and tall, hold, 1, 2, 3, round, 1, 2, 3. As soon as we're done there, we're going to wrap up with a prone scap raise, 3 on each side. Laying our head onto the forearm, we're going to shrug our shoulder down, raise that arm up, bring it down. Now as we go through this, right where that spot was in that shoulder blade when we were lacrosse balling it, that's where our focus is going to be. So be sure to actively pull that shoulder blade down, raise your palm slightly off the ground, then bring it down and relax. Then strain the elbow, pack the shoulder, lift the hand up, bring it down. 3 reps on each side. That was the prehab portion of the warm-up. Now we're going to get into the dynamic part of the workout. We're going to begin with some alligator breathing. We're going to take in 3 breaths. You're going to let your head rest down to the floor. You're going to take a deep breath in. Now as you're breathing in, feel it all throughout that low back around the hips, expanding the belly into the ground. 3 breaths here. So I'm going to inhale through my nose. Exhale through my mouth. Inhale through my nose. Exhale through my mouth. Afterwards, we're going to go into our rib grab with the foam roller. So make sure that your knee is aligned with your hip. Bottom hand goes on top of the leg to push it down into the roller. Top hand goes onto the rib that's down to the ground. Pull that shoulder blade down. Turn and breathe out. So as we're going through this motion, you're not forcing this twisting motion from the upper back. What we're doing here is we're gradually moving into a rotation. So my shoulder blade, upper back, starts rotating as I breathe out. So with these, we're going to do 3 on each side. Next, we're going to move into our quadruped hip cars. So we're going to go onto our hands and knees. We're going to pull our knee as far back as we can, keeping the hip stable. Now I'm going to draw a circle with my knee as big as I can, making sure that my hips stay stable. I'm going to go 2 full motions one direction, then reverse it. So I'm going to raise my knee up, then draw my circle that way. Raise the knee up, draw my circle outward. 2 on each side. I'm going to move into our kneeling pup. So from that quadruped position, I'm going to walk my knees back slightly. From this position, I'm going to pull my hips up. I'm going to slightly round my upper back and pull my ears back so my chin is tucked. Now my weight is pushing into the palms of the ground. Pull my pelvis up. Inhale through the nose. I'm just going to be taking in 3 breaths. The goal here is to inhale through the nose and Darth Vader breath out. The reason that we're doing that Darth Vader breath is because I want you to think about keeping intra-abdominal pressure. So when we're going into this position, you're pulling your hips up, keeping your ribs tucked, but you're breathing behind the shield where you're keeping consistent tension into the core. Afterwards, we're going to go into foot banded squats. We're going to do 5. Place the band around the center of the foot. So your feet are going to want to fall inward. What we want to do is we want to reverse that. So we want to fight against the band. We're going to do 5 squats here. Next, we're going to go into a hip hinge with a thumbs up T. Slight bend in the knee. Reach those hips back. Arms go back into a giant T. Bring it up tall. Bend the knees. Reach the hips back. Stand tall. We're going to do 5 reps. Next, we're going to do 5 banded pull aparts. So with the banded pull aparts, we're going to have our shoulders down and back. We're going to just have some slack. I like to think maybe about a thumb, 2 thumb width apart, maybe a little bit more. But what we want to do is we want to pull those shoulders down and back. Band's going to be in front. And we're going to focus on pulling that band and creating tension. Bring it back. Ripping that band out as far as we can. So what we want to do is we want to create tension from the lats and the rotator cuff, primarily the subscapularis, this back muscle here on the rear shoulder. So shoulders are down, elbows are straight. Rip that band apart, create that tension, bring it back. We're going to wrap up with lateral banded X-walks. We're going to step into the band, then we're going to cross. Now, my goal here is to create a lot of tension in the bottom of the band, but to make sure that I'm getting the appropriate tension, I'm going to go to a little bit of a quarter squat, pull the band up so it's just slightly below my chest. From here, I'm going to take short, choppy steps. 1, 2, 3. Then reverse. 1, 2, 3. The goal here is just to keep low into a crouch position and to add in resistance as you're stepping.